Alright, so this is going to be my first video entry, and I just thought I'd give a piece of advice that I always think about and consider when I myself um, talk to others about touchy subjects um, or seek advice. And what my personal advice is when you go to seek someone else's opinion or advice, or you're in a conversation with another person or a group of people about any subject, mainly subjects that are of importance, sensitivity, um, issues like politics, religion. Maybe you're in a stressful period of your life and you're seeking for advice, or so anything, pretty much anything along those subjects. But what I personally do and what I would advise is when seeking this information, it is always wise to and best to first understand what the person you're seeking, or the person whom you're speaking with, it's always best and wise for you to understand first what their personal worldview is. How do they see the world? And in that sense and in that way, it will give you an understanding and give you kind of a filter, if you will, on whatever it is that they in turn share with you. So, for example, religion's probably the best example. A Christian would give you a certain type of advice. They would give you, certain scriptures or a certain perspective versus someone who is a Buddhist. And, I'm not going to, debate on which one's better or which one's not or whatever, but I'm just giving an example. But then a Buddhist would give you a different perspective and different types of advice. The same would be with business. Someone who's interested in real estate would kind of lean more towards that information and that advice versus someone who's interested in computer engineering and so on and so forth. So it's always best for you, when seeking information or advice, it's wise for you to understand their worldview, how they see the world, and so in that way it will help you understand in itself where they are coming from and where they're basing their foundational advice from. So with that said, it's kind of twofold. So if you want certain advice, or if you want fair advice, or you want the perspective that lines up with yours, then go to someone who shares your worldview. Or if you want a different perspective, go to someone who doesn't have your worldview, and that way you'll know going in what type of advice you will be receiving. And always a rule of thumb for me, I personally am firm in my faith and my, excuse me, that's the dryer, I'm in the garage. But I personally am firm in my faith, but yet I like to think that I'm still open-minded and I keep an objective mind, and I still weigh everything out. So I've visited many different types of faiths. I've talked to many different types of businessmen who share the same thoughts and opinions that I do, and maybe ones who differ, but I still like to get their perspective. So it's always good if you can maintain that objectivity, and instead of thinking on the bias, you think accurately. It's very important that you understand how to think accurately, and that's probably another topic for another video. But if that made sense, I hope it did, and I hope it was able to help somebody. If you have any questions, message me. My email is j.5, the number 5, so j.5 ISCHER @gmail.com, and J is just the letter J, just for example. So I hope that helped, and have a good day.